All right, welcome. So we were back at it again. It's been a while. We've been off for 2 weeks, but I think me and since up December and everyone being on time and being committed, I think it was time to take a little break. Right now we are like half of the podcast. We've got some buddies working. We've got some other friends who are actually out of state. Looks like they're having fun too. So. This one we are going to just kind of be bullshitting around and really just talking about whatever the hell we want to talk about since there's not many of us here. So I guess we'll go around the room and we'll see how everyone's week was and if there's anything interesting anyone wants to go over real quick. So we can start with Dalton.
Not much going on with me, man. Just another damn week. Unfortunately, we didn't do anything last week or the week before that, but that just means we got plenty of juicy shit for this week and the coming weeks.
Yeah, that is true. So if anyone remembers anything that I didn't bring up previously, we'll just toss it in. One thing we didn't bring up previously, and what I want to talk about is at a college, I believe the college was Emory College. A bunch of students got offended because, one second. We take the stage and listen to it. Tell me how this sounds. Sorry for the technical difficulties. Thank you, love. There's chalkings around the college campus that said Trump 2016, and just if you want to listen to it, and from like up the stairs and on the sidewalks and things like that, and students were actually offended by it. They got a hold of the school president and whoever's in charge of like the committees and that crap, and they wanted money. Not like they wanted money like give us money. I don't know what that means. They wanted to give us that's fine. Okay. They wanted to basically get funds to like form safe rooms, and they offered counseling because some of the students said that they were emotionally hurt, and that some of them said that they felt threatened. They believed that there was going to be like a KK rally on campus, and like these are all like legitimate, like, you know what I'm saying, like these are kids who were emotionally hurt due to chalk on the ground. So we got thoughts on some crazy shit like that, and this is happening all over the place. This is just one college that we're going to touch on tonight that's kind of been bitten by the PC bug.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, I think one of them said, or one of the articles was saying, "I'm in pain." That was like, you know, that's just ridiculous, man. I think they should just go ahead and get it over with. Like, it just go ahead and expand it to all schools nationwide. Just, I mean, it's already headed that way anyways. It looks like everybody's very, very sensitive to everything now, so just go ahead and get it over with.
Yeah, some said that they feared for their life. They thought it was a KK rally, and some felt victimized.
Yeah. Said they were in pain.
Yeah, dude. I think it's very interesting, the sensitivity that's going on, the butt hurt. And I'm hurt butt because of that, so.
Well, I mean, this is just chalk on the ground, right? That's it?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, people need to be a little more less sensitive. You know, it's stupid. People can express themselves in any way they want, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to look at it or pay attention to it. And that's simple as that. I mean, people put posters up on the wall. I mean, you don't have to like everything that's up on the wall and call the number and all that shit. I mean, come on.
That would be part of our freedom of speech, wouldn't it? Technically, I mean.
Yeah, I would think so.
You know, I'm not sure if writing on the ground or on the you know, sidewalks.
I can understand it's like private property, so but
right. But you said it was at a school, so that would be public property. I don't see anything wrong with that at all, man.
Yeah. What I heard some people trying to claim is that when Trump does like these public speakings, they're considering, well, these individuals are considering it hate speech. Now, is that considered hate speech, or do you believe it's still in the lines of freedom of speech? Because if you really think about what he's saying, he's really like, he's not saying let's burn the Jews, let's hang the blacks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is it hate speech just because he's speaking?
I think that's what it is. It's so much hatred towards the man in general that anything that he's saying is just going to be considered hate. Think about it, anything
Well,
that he
then-
says is really.
Then they're being hateful themselves.
Well, that's what's so contradictory about the left, dudes, because a lot of the times you got these PC people who don't want to be attacked. They don't want to be hurt or have any outside ideas pushed into their mind, but yet the moment that you disagree with them, they're calling you names, they're offending you. So it's the whole like, I'm gonna talk shit to you, but when you come back to me, I'm gonna close my ears and yell la 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 la. And unfortunately, I think that a lot of that is persuading a lot of voters who are undecided to vote for Trump, whether they agree with him or not, just in a sense to shut some of these millennials and some of these people who are they're acting like, excuse me, man, but some of these people are acting like twats, dude. Like, both sides, don't get me wrong, like,
Well, yeah.
both sides, plain and simple. And it's just very, very interesting. And I'm gonna hand it off to Garrett. One thing though is somebody mentioned, I was listening to earlier, that the way that our political the way that things are going when it comes to the run kind of shows the world like where we are as a nation, and it kind of shows a weakness in who we are, and it's kind of shitty, man. It's really shitty.
Yeah, I think you were pretty spot on when you were saying, covering your ears, saying la la la. It just screams spoiled brat to me. A kid that was never told no. A kid that was never shown that other people exist in the world outside yourself. You know, you are everything. You can be anything. You know, here's a medal for participating type thing, you know. But, I mean, that's where we're at today. It's not really going to get any better from that. I think that we just have to keep going whether or not they're going to get offended on whatever it is you're doing. I mean, I don't support Trump or anything like that, but I fully support, you know, your right to free speech and, you know, write chalk on the ground if that's what it takes. Because what next? Are you going to, you know, complain about the little 10-year-old that drew hopscotch on there? I mean, and say, no, this is a place for adults. It's a place for higher learning. I feel like I'm a child now. These people shouldn't belong here. I don't understand if there was nothing hate written, if anything wasn't, you know, racial slurs or violent text, then what do they really have to complain about? It's just supporting a person that unfortunately you don't agree with.
Yeah, man. Nothing racist, nothing, you know, nothing prejudiced about it.
Yeah, the whole media, you know, it reminds me of like we're on this big reality TV show or something like that. It's ridiculous.
It's weird.
Yeah. I saw a meme the other day. It said like, it seems like it's the last season of America, and the directors are just going nuts.
Yeah, they don't care what's being read anymore.
Yeah.
And dude, I'm actually looking, like, a few of these articles are actually within with colleges, because another one, I guess moving on from that, is the woman who saw some people outside of her window, which actually turned out to be ROTC. I guess they'd be cadets, whatever the hell they are, and they were doing their normal rifle drills, and she called the police because, you know, basically she felt threatened. She didn't understand that there was going to be, I guess, training, and she basically told the cops that she would be calling them daily, as many times as she saw them, you know, just to be on the safe side for whatever fucking reason. What do you think, man? Anyone do ROTC in high school?
I did.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
I think
I
remember you saying that there used to be like actual. They didn't work guns, but they were actual.
Yeah, they're just
like,
prop
rifles.
guns.
Yeah, props.
Yeah.
So I mean, do you think that we need to be a cause for concern for that, or do you think this woman is over exaggerating?
Absolutely over exaggerating. But then again, I could see, you know, maybe if someone did bring their own rifle and it looked like one of those prop rifles, how would anybody know the difference? I do kind of see the concern in there, but so it's sad to say, but fat chance, you know, like the bolts don't even open on those rifles. They're completely not functioning. They've taken out the firing pin and all of the firing mechanism that it needs to, you know, actually fire a round. So it's just totally blown out, you know, just ridiculous.
And I believe this is probably the administration's, you know, job to deal with this, to let this lady know that, hey, everything's safe, you need to relax. or let them know the different parameters to where, hey, if you see this is supposed to happen, but if you happen to see anything along these lines or anything different, then yes, that's when you need to go ahead and phone call the police. But the administration's got to come into that. First of all, if your police have enough time to deal with a lady calling every day, just tell her, hey, you need to chill, then your police aren't doing anything. So administration needs to get on that.
You have the right to bear arms. You're allowed to carry a rifle outside your house. I mean, they should have just told her that.
Where is this? Which state?
You know, it's just dumber and dumber people are being bred. It's education that we need to fix.
It's like idiocracy.
Exactly. Next thing you know, we're going to be watering our plants with Gatorade.
Going to Starbucks for hand jobs.
Yeah.
Well, it's in North Dakota, apparently. I'm not sure what the open carry laws there are, but regardless, it just seems like this lady, it doesn't seem like she's being overcautious. It seems like she's trying to be a nuisance in order to keep gun control going and put it in people's minds. So she's just trying to stay in your arm or stay in your eyes and your ears, you know, the squeaky wheel gets the oil type thing.
Right.
And I don't think she believes she's really in any danger. She's just trying to push an agenda.
Pain in the ass, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And when we're talking about people breeding, I don't think that it's necessarily anything to do with the people as much as it's the apathy of the parents these days. You know, you send your kid off to school, and then when they get home, I mean, most people have no idea what their kids do at school. My parents definitely did not. So
that is a very, very good point. Good thing you pointed that out. That's very true.
What did they call those kids? Latchkey kids. I was a latchkey kid.
Me as
for
well.
Sure.
I mean, but I was in that happened to me, and I didn't have cable TV.
Yeah, my parents
weren't
weren't
internet. I didn't have any way to have my brain corrupted without my mom not being there. You know, I didn't have certain TV channels and internet access to, you know, unlimited information, whether it be good or bad information. Until I got older, I wasn't able to experience those things. I lived pretty sheltered until probably 8th grade, 7th grade.
Yeah, same with me, man. Because the internet wasn't really invented very much. Dial up. If you got on the internet, your parents knew they should get on the phone.
Yeah.
Hear that nasty, buzzing sound.
Yeah, I have a phone jack too, though.
All right, man. Let's get away from the whole very upsetting way that colleges are handling certain situations. Let's get to the happier side of things. Let's talk about marijuana. We always talk about marijuana over here at Couchfly. A lot of us are very advocate for what we believe in when it comes to marijuana. Oh yeah, you can use that. Hey, check it out. See, you gotta just for future, you gotta click that down, and then hold it, and then this is to keep it continuous.
Figuring out the torch here.
Bringing out the torch, people. So here's what's very cool, and I think would help a lot of communities, anywhere from your suburbs, even to your ghettos, probably. What they're doing is they're giving free joints to the community for people who are coming with bags of trash. Now, that's a good incentive. I know, especially if it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday, I don't got a check coming in for a few days. I need a joint, man. If somebody told me, hey, bro, you go pick up some trash, you get a joint or two.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah? Is there any limit to how many bags I can bring? Because I'm getting paid for a few days, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. Maybe it's just on how much trash you bring. Which, if that's the case, dude, I'm pretty sure some of these people are gonna be cleaning like fucking Mary Poppins or whoever.
Oh yeah.
So what do y'all's guys' input? Do you think we should? Well, not we, because Texas is in the the talks of or at least medical is for sure coming by. But whether hypothetically here or other states that are legal, do you think that's a good incentive, or do you think that's kind of maybe a little bit too much?
If it was me, I would make marijuana in the food forms legal everywhere, and especially for this, because it's the healthiest way to do it, and you get the taxes and everything from selling all the brownies and lollipops and whatever you have. I think that's the best way to do it. You can sell ice cream and shit, you know?
I mean, you can go ahead and call me a pessimist, but usually when something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. And I don't know.
Yeah.
There's got to be either a limit on how much you can get, or something like that. Like, oh, it's a one joint per person, no matter how much you bring, but they won't let you know that until the end. The bait and switch and all that. And if that's the case, it will last about a week, and then everyone will catch on to the whole thing.
I was gonna say, couple different places are doing this. I heard that this isn't the only place doing this now that other places have heard of it. Other places are encouraging people to recycle, to bring in their plastics and their aluminums and stuff like that. So I think it is a good idea, honestly, in my opinion, regardless of the limit that they set, because they are a business, like McDonald's. If they were having, say, a free burger day, and everybody could go in and get their free burger if they brought in, let's say, a Coke can, you would only be limited to, let's say, 1 or 2 burgers every day or so.
That'd probably be counterproductive as well, because you probably make more trash than you brought in with eating burgers and the drinks and whatnot.
Right.
I agree with that. It just kind of sucks as a community or as a race that, we're not out just helping for the sake of it. I have to get a reward. And then if I'm promised a certain reward and I receive less, then I feel jaded, and I don't trust the next time someone tries to offer me something nice in order for me to do something nice for them.
Right. Yeah, I understand.
Oh yeah, man, that's how it's supposed to be. But look at the society we live in. It's not like that. It's a doggy dog world out there. But it should be like that.
Well, I live in Georgetown, and there are a lot of people that do a lot for the community for nothing. I think it's more when you get to
populated,
and it's not even about that. It's whenever I really think it all comes back to the school system every time I talk about this, because it's the more populated areas to where the teachers can't have more one-on-one time, and the kindergarten classes have 30 kids, and you can't have certain kids keep up with the other ones. And you know how you kind of selected into a GT or a tag class from kindergarten. They've pretty much all decided which one of us they're going to allow to succeed and which one of us are going to struggle for the rest of our lives. They're going to look at your track record. Oh, you've been in all these tag and AP classes, yet in kindergarten, is it really that easy to tell that early that this kid is that much more gifted than this kid over here? Or don't they need a little more time to develop? Some kids take longer than others.
See, and you're on the right track. It is education that we need to change. Mm-hmm. And people not knowing themselves and not knowing what they want to do with their lives, it is the cause of the problem. Because you have those kids at a young age that are gifted and do know what they don't want to do because they're good at what they do. But those kids that don't, they might go their whole lives not knowing what to do, and, it's just confusing.
And they also fall by the wayside with less help. People tend to ride the coattails of a kid with talent, and they will help them and push them. Yet a kid, your first impression, you show that you're below average or something, you're probably never going to be known for more than that. And I think that's ridiculous when we're talking about 5-year-old children. It's
kind of funny how everybody loves a story of an underdog, but nobody really loves the underdog, Like, in reality, that's just a sad truth. The homeless person on the street that has some hidden talent is never really going to unlock that talent. Nobody's ever gonna push them to unlock that talent, but the person who shows that they obviously have talent, like let's say they're good at high school football or whatever it may be, those are the people that are unfortunately going to be sponsored in a way.
Yeah, and I hate to sound like a broken record because I talk about this all the time, but it's people not knowing themselves that is the problem. So psychology is the best way to know yourself. It's learning your mind and figuring out how it works. And when you come into those stressful situations, you know how to handle the stress because you know how to handle your mind. And less stress equals, less rebelliousness and knowing what to do and finding, more people would know what career they want to do, what they wanted to do with their lives.
Kind of off track, but do you think stress would also lead to drug abuse?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
Alcoholism?
No, it's a direct correlation.
Abuse?
Yeah, and America is the biggest abusers in the world because we are the most stressed people in the world. We have the longest hours and everything like that.
Why do you think that is?
The system.
It's the ideology that we live in right here. It's all about media and making the most money and being better than the person next to you.
And I think, especially when you come from the wrong side of the tracks, you grow up and see so many people do so much wrong and so little for everyone and get so much out of it just because of maybe who their parents are, and you do everything right your whole life and, live by the book and try to get there, and yet you're never going to have as much as that person. It takes as a child, it takes a very mature kid to, put that past them and not get extremely angry about it. Why didn't I get the same things for Christmas as these kids did and that kind of stuff?
Right.
And I know that's the whole effect of capitalism and everything, but the disparity between so many people is pretty disheartening when you're on the low side, especially when you're just born into it. It's not like you were given a choice.
Right.
Yet, I guess you are given, quote unquote, every opportunity to get yourself out of it, but it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's been proven time and time again through, you have legacies from sports, actor legacies, and, scientist legacies, judges, they're all coming from families that have experienced this before, when the first generations of whatever families came from here to America and whatnot. That's why it's extremely hard for a lot of immigrants to get into a lot of high-level job work as well, because they're not going to know anyone to get them into that position. And, you don't have to be a person of minority to feel that way.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, definitely. It's definitely a mixture of races now and poverty, and we're all experiencing similar oppressions in life. So, we definitely need to work towards a better future.
But it's not a race issue. It is a class issue. It is anyone not in a certain power level that is going to be hit by the police or something like that. A lot of people want to say it's only certain races hit, but if you're just from a certain neighborhood, regardless what color you are, if that's the people you grew up with, you're targeted the same way.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree. There is racism in the world, but it's totally what you're saying, exactly.
Yeah.
Racism exists, but I just think on the higher level of what the government is trying to do, it's not race-driven at that point. It's class-driven. But what we're talking about between people and our status and our, middle class, middle lower class, whatever you want to call us, the racism exists in that area because it's created in order for us all to kill each other off and whatnot. It's a lot easier to control us that way.
Yeah. It really is.
Who is that?
Shit, I think I forgot. Never mind. I remember there was a quote or something like the best way to control or the best way to unite somebody is to segregate them or some shit like that. I forgot. It was some quote like that. I forgot what it was though exactly.
Well, I can see how it's hard for people of minority to just forget all the things that have happened and just be like, oh, no, it's equal now? No, it's all cool? Like,
right.
I would totally feel that way if I were of minority. But I still don't think that kind of thinking is going to lead to any progress on the subject.
Agreed. And look at the Indians.
Yeah.
Dude, come on.
Yeah.
They got genocide on them. So,
they got the worst of it, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And it was done by Christians. So
at some point in history, every race has been a slave.
Yes.
It's been a natural progression of life because we haven't had technology to do the labor. No,
and no one wants to do the work.
Oh, fuck.
That's right. It's pretty much the same thing today with slavery. While the man that owns your company doesn't want to stock your shelves, so he's going to pay you a living wage just enough for you to get by in order
barely.
to. He's pretty much just paying for your meals in your home. So same thing. So it's just a different name and different name system, you have a freedom of choice, but your choices are extremely limited depending on where you are.
Lower class, the harder it is to get up.
Yeah. It's hard to work your way up, and once you get to the top and you fall, I mean, you always end up right back on top. I mean, all of the laws against like bankruptcy or anything, you never really truly go broke.
Mm-hmm.
All right, man. I don't know how we started with marijuana, and then we got onto a bunch of other things.
Because people are stupid, and if they're educated, they smoke marijuana.
Yeah, I was going to say, what I've noticed is that everything does come back to education. Like I was telling you the other day, whether it's in the school setting, whether it's in a home, whether it's in, gun control, it's having someone inform you of the goods, the bads, and how to handle whatever situation or whatever item or object, whatever the hell you're doing. So also on another good note when it comes to marijuana is, so it's estimated by 2020 that the marijuana business will hit, what was it? Shit.
6 billion or something like that?
No, 44 billion. It's right at the top of the screen.
Oh, shit.
Right, dude. It's literally like right here at the top of the screen. Yeah, hit 44 billion by 2020. Now, when it comes to actual cannabis sales, it's only 6 to 11. So the other remaining is going to be. Me and Dalton were thinking like edibles,
glass.
Glass, like head shops, buying equipment to make stuff, fertilizers, things of that nature. But dude, that's a lot of money. That's 44 billion amongst 5 states. Now, just basic math, man. 5 states is, if we're making 44 billion off of 5 states, off of the remaining states, we'll make upwards of, it'll be a $400 and some billion industry, roughly. Just doing, if that's the same numbers for everything on out. That's a lot of money, dude. That's a huge amount of money. Now, do you think those numbers would continue to increase the more we legalize in states, or do you think at one point it would eventually kind of like cap out, or do you think that forever be a growing?
It'd increase, but eventually cap out.
Eventually,
yeah, eventually. Yeah. I mean, the problem with having marijuana in all the states is, I mean, the world is a global drug trafficking empire, and making marijuana legal in the United States, causes a lot of problems for, the richer people that control, pharmaceutical drugs and stuff like that. And because all these cures are coming out, hey, you can smoke marijuana, cure this and that, and that's taken away from Xanax and all the other drugs like that. So, I mean, hopefully, eventually we can, and we will make all that money, and it'd be a great way to get out of our debt.
And this is all what, domestic, just selling to Americans, or is this like exported as well? Because I don't believe there's a huge market of export anyway. A lot of places already allow it, but I don't know. My thing about it, I've always thought that it's a good idea, but it also, I think you will see a small spike in more violent crime, because the guy that just sits there and sells weed to, feed his family is now going to start turning towards either harder drugs or, armed robbery, things like that.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing that first popped up to me, is because throughout my life, since I've been smoking since I was like 15 years old, I've dealt with a lot of different people that sell that are in a lot of different situations in life, and a lot of these people do have families and are just good people. And I think if you take away that from them, I'm not saying it's theirs to rightfully own that, job market or anything, but I know that people will resort to more drastic measures if they're not able to provide for the ones they love or themselves. So I'm not saying that, I mean, maybe those people all get caught eventually, but you will at least see a spike therefore shortly after.
I want to say actually that in the states that it's been legalized, the use of other drugs has gone down drastically. So these other drug users are turning to marijuana instead because it's now legal, and they can legally try to, I mean, I would think people that were like addicted to other things could legally try to just wean off with weed.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that for the users, but not so much the dealers. I think that's where it hurts them. The dealers are the ones that are going to start turning to more difficult angles. Because if you think about, I mean, I'm sure y'all as well as I have encountered a lot of people that have sold you some weed, in a whole bunch of different settings or factors, in a whole bunch of different states, cities, everything, and that's a lot of people that are going to lose their job. Quote unquote.
See, here's the thing though: if they're going to be making all this money selling, weed illegally, tax free and all that, then they have enough money to start up a business. Because marijuana business is going to be open for people to start up their, head shops and shit like that.
Not everyone is business driven like that in order to be able to do more than, hey, I give you this, you give me money. I know. Also, what is it, like 90% of businesses fail the first time, and if someone does take all that money they've saved and put it into a business and loses everything they've owned, I mean, I agree that this is circumstantial, but I think it would happen to quite a few people.
Also, there are a lot of permits, and they're starting to require certain educations and shit like that. So, I mean, there's a lot of legal stuff that they can't even really get through.
Yeah, that cause problems always.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing that the legalization is gonna most likely be overall a good thing. I just think that you got to look at all sides of the scope. And a lot of times I do try to look for the problem when it doesn't even seem like there is one, I'm the kind of person that can't sleep when something seems too good to be true,
Yeah, no, I think all drugs should be legal. That way it kills the illegal business of the cartel selling any kind of substance. The only thing they'd be doing is human trafficking.
That's what I was just about to bring up. But then, like he was saying, with marijuana being legal, they have to resort to other things that are more intense. Well, if they're going to be resorted to human trafficking, wouldn't that spike up as well? That would probably cause another problem. Murder, yeah.
Yeah, but at least we're focusing on what things we should be focusing on. People that are fucking with people.
It'd probably be a lot smarter to cut down on people being kidnapped rather than wasting money on a drug war.
Yeah, look how much time the police waste on drugs.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All their fucking time.
If they could devote their time to other things, such as what y'all are talking about, human trafficking and shit like that, then fuck, who's to say?
Sounded kind of rough there, man.
Yeah.
Sounded kind of like you lost your breath there, Dalton.
I did for a minute.
I mean,
may have gotten ninja dabbed for.
I smoke as much as the next person at this point, and I have for a long time. But I can directly accredit my choice to get high instead of do things as a reason as to why I didn't amount to what I thought I would have at this age. And I do believe there should be a higher age restriction on something of this matter if it does happen, because I don't believe it's a gateway drug to where you're going to smoke and you're going to turn into a heroin addict by any means. I've never touched anything like that, and I've smoked for several years. But I do 100% know for a fact through experience that it does lower your ambition to do more and go out and do something else besides sit and play 8 hours of video games just stoned out of your mind, And that's a lot of time wasted when you're a 16-year-old trying to go to a good college, trying to play a sport, trying to do anything you're trying to do, you know what I'm saying? There has to be some kind of restriction if it comes to that point, because I won't sugarcoat it at all. It does have a few negative effects, but does not outweigh the amount of positive effects that it would bring.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, nobody can deny that we spend most of our time playing games and eating food and shit like that. But yeah, again, it comes back to education. If we had more disciplined children and stuff like that, they wouldn't abuse drugs as we do now. The only reason we abuse drugs because, again, stress, and we want to escape from all that.
All right. So we're going to go back at it again with the stupid PC that's seeming to hit more colleges.
Back at it again.
Back at it again with the PC. So another college, man, they're having issues over a party that some students threw. They call it Tequila Theme, and some students wore mini sombreros a few inches in diameter to the party. And people were offended, saying that it was offensive to Hispanics, Mexicans, Latinos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And now people are like, why are they bringing this up now? they're saying it's kind of been an issue. A few years ago, they did a Thanksgiving party where people dressed up as Indians. And then the following year, they did a party that was like a hip-hop theme where people wore, like, you know, grills, gold chains, and put fake cornrows in their hair. So now, thinking of those past two things, man, those are pretty bad. Like, you know, the killing of millions of Indians and, you know, kind of like in a racist way, trying to depict black people. But these little sombreros, they're offended by that. And me being a bean, dude, I don't mind being called a beaner or a wet bag or, you know what I'm saying, dude, like a spick, dude. Like, I don't care, bro. Like, I didn't hop the border. My dad didn't hop the border. You know, we paid the fucking, like, few bucks it cost to get, you know, legal back in like the 18th century, 1800s, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, we're good, so it doesn't offend me, man. Like, if y'all were to come over here, and that's what Dolan said. He's like, well, like, what if they were to wear ponchos? Like, they'd probably be offended too, man. Like, there's really nothing that you could do in a college setting that wouldn't hurt someone's feelings. And once again, I'm hurt butt over it, dude. Once again.
Yeah, Eric, no, people should be an average individual like you and be able to handle, you know, what things are thrown at them like that. It's not a big deal.
No, it's not. No.
I kind of don't like the whole Indian one because it's more genocidal. But if the hip hop one, that doesn't seem too racist to me. I mean, no one calls Paul Wall racist for wearing chains and grills. And I mean, it's a hip hop theme. Would you?
Yeah.
I mean, you would have 80. What would white people be able to do then? What kind of thing? Like the polo and khaki party? I mean, like Vanilla Ice. I mean, I don't really think that's racist because that is hip hop. You know, mainly black people are, you know, in hip hop. But if it was an NBA party and they wore jerseys and shorts, would that be racist? Because that's mainly black as well.
That's a good point.
I mean, that's my only thing with. I don't think that's necessarily racist. Maybe if they were going out of hand and saying the N word and doing things they shouldn't have been doing, that would be over the line and definitely racist and unacceptable. But a hip-hop themed party, that seems to go well. I mean, in an 80s party, you're going to see them wear those, like, tight workout suits and, like, big puffy hair with the bangs and whatnot. So that, and we also moved on to the sombrero ones. I mean, I could kind of see that being a little on the racist side, but I mean, were they like playing mariachi songs, or were they just playing regular music? Just had little sombreros on.
It was just a party. Just they went to go get drunk. They had tequila, and it was just a tequila themed party. And these two people came in with these sombreros, posted I think pictures on Instagram, and people were upset. And now these students want these two removed from campus. They want them kicked out of school. Yeah.
That's so drastic.
I got a question. If me and you went out on May 5th and I got drunk with a sombrero on my hat, would you consider me racist? Because I'm just celebrating Cinco de Mayo. I mean,
no, dude, I consider you like wanting to accept other people's cultures. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right? Exactly.
Patrick's Day. I'm not gonna. If I see a black man or Hispanic man wearing a green shirt on St. Patrick's Day that says "Kiss me, I'm Irish," drinking, I'm gonna be like, that is awesome. He's, you know, trying to partake in the, you know, someone else's culture. Even if it's not where you're from, it's fun to participate. Right. As long as it's not derogatory, violent, anything like that, I don't see the issue. The Indian one, a little. I agree with the Indian one.
The Indian one, I mean, that was
stepped over the line on that one. Yeah.
People just need to look at people as human. That's it. No race, no nothing, no religion. Just everybody's a human, you know, because we all are.
I was reading, actually, I forgot where this was, dude, but I was reading that at one point people didn't recognize race. At one point in time, people did not recognize race whatsoever. And then it was implemented by, I forget which fucking, they even named which, like, where it was from, but some sort of government. It was implemented by them
to oppress some kind of
well, to create the middle, lower, and higher class. You know.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Probably like Alexander the Great or something.
I think it did have something to. Yeah, it was something along those lines. Yeah.
He seemed to, you know, do things along the world and set a certain pace that we never really stopped going along ever since he started.
Yeah. But I thought that was real interesting.
All right, man. So Today's the 25th. Today's Friday. Batman vs Superman came out. What's up with the movie? I want to hear it. No spoilers. No spoilers. Anyone know anything about it? Because I do know some info about it, and I don't want to ruin it. Because what I've heard is that Batman does something against what Batman usually does. I don't know. It could just be some bullshit. But we'll let Garrett get into it. I was kind of wanting to go see it tonight, so this might be what decides if I'm going to go spend money on it or sit at home and just chill.
All right, yeah. Me and my wife and my best friend went and saw it last night, and I thought it was fantastic. You know, it's not easy to put comic book characters and make it really feel like it came to life, and also make an original storyline to a movie. So I believe that they did that very well because they definitely used a lot of references from comics, and you could hear some Easter eggs, like early talk. Alfred says something about the Phantasm, you know, which is like an old movie from like '95, a cartoon movie Warner Brothers produced that I remember seeing as a kid, and just different things along that line. I've been reading a lot and hearing a lot that a lot of people didn't like it. I'm not really sure as to why. To me, it seemed like it had a good story. You would think it was going to drag along for a long time to like set up some kind of big climactic ending, but really like the whole last hour or so was like the last fight scene. It was hella action packed, real tough. It maybe not quite that long, but it goes like directly from a huge fight scene into another huge fight scene back to back without pretty much any pause in between, and it's pretty awesome. There's a couple things I probably would have changed. I don't really know how much to say without spoiling anything. I was happy with the outcome of it.
I don't know if this would spoil it, but who's the bad guy in this? Like, who's the one that fucked up or whatever?
Oh, Lex Luthor's the bad guy, of course. But
the
way things are spun is, you know, in Man of Steel, Superman saved the world, killing General Zod, who wanted to wipe out the human race and make a new Krypton on Earth. I always kind of had an issue with that because why couldn't he just went to Mars or something? He has a world engine that can change any planet into the atmosphere he needs, but he was just like, no, I'm doing the humans area. These guys don't get it.
Yeah, but why are Batman and Superman fighting each other?
All right, so the first scene, you know, you've seen it in the theaters, is where Batman, you know, as Bruce Wayne, is in Metropolis while this fight between General Zod and Man of Steel is happening from the first one, and everyone's getting killed and wiped out from all these buildings exploding, and the world engine that's terraforming the planet is causing these major gravity shifts and just like crushing things and then throwing them in the air and crushing them, and he's seeing all kinds of people die, and there is a Wayne Tower in Metropolis, and a lot of his friends die or either get like maimed for the rest of their life. You know, he sees it as a point of view as this guy is really bad. Look at all this destruction he caused. Then something happens that adds to that more for him, so he decides that, you know, Superman is bad and he needs to kill him in order to, you know, save the world, because he can take out the whole world by himself. Superman, on the other hand, sees how Batman gets justice in Gotham, and he, you know, beats the living crap out of them, you know, leaves them broken, all four limbs broken, and then brands them with a bat symbol, which is essentially a death sentence in prison. So he decides Batman is not a good guy.
Okay, a few things. So so Batman brands, he's branding them. I'm curious to know, is there a reason? Do they go behind it? And also, why is it a death sentence? Now, if it kind of, you know, said try to avoid spoilers if it has any. Also, now how long of prep time? How long of a prep time did it take Batman to figure a way to at least combat Superman? Like, was there basically, in a sense, was the movie wrapped up in a few days of the thing, or do you think months have gone by? Do you get what I'm saying? I'm trying to say it, but
well, I mean, at the start of it, it's like a year and a half after what has happened, and I believe the whole movie takes place over a couple weeks to a couple months as of time, like within time. The last few scenes are pretty much just like a few days, though. One day after one day after one day or something like that. But the events prior to that, yeah, it's like I would say it's all wrapped up within tops 6 months from the opening scene to the end of it. So it's all pretty summed up together. His prep time of when he figured out like what to do and how to do it was limited, but it was there.
Okay.
Which should let you know something.
And then the brand.
The brand started after Superman came, and he had to lift this. Batman lifted this, extremely heavy thing that no normal man. Everyone was just shocked. No, Mr. Wayne lifted this big ass thing off this dude's legs, and he had to have his legs amputated. And it was somebody that worked for him, and like a lot of his friends died in the building that fell and whatnot. And that's when he started going. Remember in the commercial, you can hear Alfred say it's that feeling of powerlessness that makes good men cruel. Because that's when he starts doing stuff like that. They're starting to feel that he's becoming cruel to a degree, and I think Batman knew what he was doing. As well as there is a part in there where it seems like Batman does do something that he never does, and I am seeing it again Sunday. It's such a quick part that it's hard for me to exactly tell what happened, but it seems like he does something that you would not expect.
Did they address that in the movie, or is it just like fans and ongoers who saw it?
The only thing addressed in the movie is that, Batman does admit at one point that everything is different, and taking out Superman is the one thing that has ever mattered. And that he said, how the first generation of Waynes got their fortune? And Alfred said railroad and real estate, and he said nope, it was pelts and coats. We were hunters. That's what we're for. Okay. You know what I'm saying? So he kind of feels like this is what he's supposed to do to kill this person, or alien as he views him. He doesn't even view him as a person.
Now, without giving too much, how did it wrap up? Was it like abruptly? Did it leave room for an ongoing series? I know from a review that I watched about the movie, somebody said that they had introduced other characters, but like in trailer form, like something weird. And he said something about Aquaman. Now, he said the way Aquaman was introduced was kind of fucked up. Anyone here care about hearing about that? Y'all gonna go see that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Damn it. Okay. Well, don't tell us about Aquaman. But what did he mean by that? He said it was like a trailer within a movie. I don't know if I maybe misunderstood him, or if you can kind of give us some insight on that.
Yeah, it's a good way to describe it without actually telling you what it is. And it's not only a trailer for Aquaman. It's several Justice League members. There's only one missing that I heard there was supposed to be a cameo of, and I think I just missed it, or maybe I left too early and it was at the very end. But I didn't see my boy Hal Jordan in there, and that's one thing that got to me.
Really?
Yeah.
So did you see Flash?
Yes.
Cyborg?
Yes.
Of course. Then you got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Who else is there? Then
Aquaman.
Aquaman, and then Aquaman. So the only one you see is Mr. Green Lantern.
Green Lantern is the only one that. I mean, I really don't. Did any of y'all watch the Flash show? It comes on CW.
Yeah.
And how there's the metahuman thing that's going on, or when
they all got struck and all that shit.
They call them metahumans now. All the people with powers. Well, that's something that is just now starting to be known. And let's just say Batman is trying to be finding people with abilities.
Okay. Oh, so it's like basically almost legitimately like the comics, like the new Justice League 52, where the superheroes are kind of finding out that there's other superheroes, and they're trying to find out who's good and who's bad.
No.
So
it's not anything like that.
So how long has Superman been, like, how you're saying that they show Batman running and Superman and Zod fighting and all that shit happening, that's how he starts to not like him. How long of a gap is it between then and there? Like before he figures out, is he already Batman?
Yes.
Oh, he's already Batman at that point? Okay.
It's more like I think it's Frank Miller's Batman where he's older. He's almost in his 50s, I believe. He's been doing this for over 20 years. Damn. Yeah, and he's older, and he talks about it, as you hear in the trailer, so I'm not giving anything away here. Alfred said even you've grown too old to die young. So he is older, and I think like he started maybe doing less until this whole thing with the Superman started, because in the trailer you also in the trailer you also see Robin's suit with the holding a crowbar with the writing, green writing that says "Ha ha, joke's on you." So it kind of shows that he's been doing this for a while, and he's probably died down since Robin died or whatever. And it seems like he picked it up when the world was introduced to the Superman, because he never really seen anything like that. And because these godlike people, the whole movie is very well portrayed to where Superman is considered like a god to most people. Literally, people worship him and things like that and pray to him. And obviously Batman is not a fan of that, especially after seeing the damage he's caused him and the people that he knows and cares about. But because he's seen that, I guess he has some kind of initiative to maybe search for more. But he's not really the only one. So, and one of those characters that you name has a larger cameo than the rest in a small form, but it is there. And it's actually pretty cool. I was hard to see who it was and what was going on, because how the scene, I think the scene's supposed to be made that way, because he doesn't just walk up or anything like that. It's a weird way how he's introduced into everything. So, but it is intricate and pretty interesting. But I'm definitely excited.
Did you like the way they handled
they needed to make him look more like the character, because it looked like he was either in a prototype suit, or he had just got fucked up big time or something, which is quite possible from what's going on. I mean, I'll tell you yourself if you'd like to know in a little bit. I don't want to spoil it for anyone else. But
so overall, would you recommend seeing this, or what's your review out of 10, scale 1 to 10?
Man, I love everything DC related.
1 to 10 couches.
Yeah, 1 to 10 couches, man. Yeah, for the Couchfly.
I love everything DC related, and a lot of people hate on it for some reason. I thought it was long enough without being too long. It introduced everything, had a lot of different Easter eggs. It was something that if you read the comics, watch the shows, you will recognize a lot of things that should have been there. And even if you haven't, it will make the story pretty easy for you to understand. You may wonder about a few things, but with just background comic knowledge, you shouldn't miss a beat. I'd give it, 10 out of 10 couches for sure. That's just me, dude. I loved it. I know a lot of other people are not saying that, but I think those people are either just Marvel fans or a fan of Batman or Superman, one of the ones that maybe didn't get such a glorious, ending. I'm not gonna say anything about it, but I loved it.
Well, there you go, folks. That's Couchfly's official movie guy review of the week.
I like the whole couch thing,
10
man.
out of 10 couches.
Do reviews. Do a review and something every week and give it a couch review.
Movies almost the night they come out. Almost every big movie.
It'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So definitely check that out, man. I'm kind of convinced to go see it, dude. I've heard good and bad, but I kind of agree with the whole Marvel fanboys. Yes. It's the first big DC movie, so dude, people go and put 100 Yelp reviews on a company just to ruin them. I could totally see them writing bad reviews under fake names just to fucking do it.
It's like Jay and Silent Bob, know.
Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna make you eat our shit and then shit out our shit, then eat your shit made up of our shit. That's how it feels. I mean, really, it was not meant to be the climactic end to a story. It is a single building block onto what's about to be Justice League, and the way that they did that was very solid, as well as making it a good movie on its own with hell of a lot of action and story. I heard a lot of people were not digging Ben Affleck. I think he did a damn good Batman. I think he did a way better Batman than Christian Bale, because Christian Bale...
No! A lot of people are going to hate you.
That thing, no, I don't like. No, Bruce Wayne, on the other hand, Christian Bale was the best Bruce Wayne ever. He couldn't touch his Bruce Wayne.
Okay. So
no, I'm talking about just the Batman character.
Batman. Okay.
But especially because Christian Bale, he's smaller. He's like 6'2", 205. To the general populace, that's not a scary Batman type huge devil creature. Ben Affleck's like 6'4", 250. You know,
Really?
yes, he's big.
I didn't know that.
I think Val Kilmer was my favorite Batman, just personally. But I like Ben Affleck, his take on Batman. His take on Bruce Wayne was not well received. But I think if you read the comics and you've seen like the Dark Knight Returns and everything, it's the older version of Batman. He, calls people son and things like that. It's not meant to be.
Old.
It's not meant to be the Bruce Wayne that Christian Bale was, where he's.
There's a huge difference in look.
Yes,
but,
agreed.
It's
But
not like he's trying to play the age of Christian Bale's character.
yeah.
Yeah.
One thing that did bother me is the shortness of the ears. They went with the Dark Knight Returns short ears suit on the
those,
Batman.
dude.
I like the longer ones personally.
What?
Yeah.
Cut them off, man.
Did you like the George Clooney Batman?
No, not at all. He didn't
Arnold
even, put on a
Schwarzenegger
different
as
voice.
Iceman.
I
or
see,
whatever.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Freeze.
Other than
Freeze.
his horrible puns, I loved him.
Yeah, dude, they're cheesy as
Chill
fuck. dude.
out.
Yeah.
You need to cool it.
I love that. That's great. You're joking.
That's how it was, man. I'm definitely excited for. I'm a DC fan, but I cannot wait for Civil War coming out soon. I think it's going to be the first Marvel movie that I actually genuinely like, because they are going to address the fact that they are murdering millions of people in their movies and then having parades about it later. That was always my biggest issue with Marvel, was the whole Disney feel of it. I'm excited for that, and I'm also halfway excited for Suicide Squad, man. The girl for Harley Quinn is not Harley Quinn, man. That was a terrible casting decision in my opinion. But I think Leto is a huge wild card. He's either gonna bomb or he's gonna kill it, and I think he's gonna do a good job actually. And I think Will Smith is gonna hella save this movie. Anything with Will Smith, he's gonna bring it up just a notch. He's a great actor.
Yeah, Will Smith is an awesome actor.
Yes. They have a lot of dudes. Like, did you ever see RoboCop?
RoboCop.
The newest
new
one.
Yeah.
The guy that plays RoboCop, he's playing Rick Flag, which pretty much he's like a general in some army type division, and he's the one that leads them all into this battle. Captain Boomerang seems crazy as hell. I mean, it's a lot of people from. If you read the comics, you know all of these characters. It's legit. I mean, other than Harley, which is probably gonna ruin the movie in my opinion.
Yeah, she's
but
not Harley to me, man.
no, her voice is just some like regular old voice. She looks to a degree like one
the
of the
Mr.
Harley.
J.
Yes,
I need the Mr.
the voice
J.
is more important than the look, in
Yeah,
my
it is,
opinion.
dude. It
They
is.
could have made her up or put certain makeup or anything. You have to get that part right, and like the way she's not very comical. The way when she's trying to be funny, it's not funny. Like Harley Quinn kind of is
like
kind of funny.
a bubbly, like airhead, off the wall,
Yes.
lunatic, cute, but sexy, but weird, but scary, murderous.
She's a lot more in your face than the one we're
Yeah.
seeing. She just kind of like talking monotone.
Yeah. I love Harley Quinn, man. From the Batman games, the comics.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good shit.
It was like the one character that was never originally in the comics, and then they made her for the WB series,
Yeah.
and they loved her
was
so
a hit.
much that they started putting her in the
hit.
comics, man.
Yeah.
She always gets her ass beat.
All right, man. So that's like a 2.5 hour movie. I think I'm gonna try to actually go catch that. So we're gonna wrap that up here. We ended off with the nice couches. 10 out of 10. I hope everyone has a very good weekend, weekday, whatever day they might hear this, and Easter if anyone is going to church or whatever they may be doing, or sitting at home getting high. Oh crap! I think we have to go to church. I got to make appearances for the family, man. But all right, what you got going on?
Just saying peace.
Chilling? Yeah. All right, man. That will actually do it, and we're out.